I recently read a story, and the ending upset me. I was upset because it wasn't completed. This is a story where there was a lot of violence and humiliation of the beloved man. I am forced to read them and even begin to write, but I always wait and rejoice at the moment when the guy grows up and stands up for his manhood. Why guys do this is a mystery to me. I can't imagine sharing my wife with someone. Well, maybe with another woman, but that's just a fantasy. I want her to be the only one, my wife. Well, I don't understand those who share, and those who enjoy the humiliation of having their wife with another man, even if it's just a game. Best? Is it true? I guess I thought that when she said, "I love you," it was game over. She found her best, and he found his. End of story. I understand but do not condone the morality of flirting, excessive drinking, the need for release during long periods of separation, even the getting a little piece of what you can't get at home attitude. I understand open relationships, but I don't understand how you can humiliate a guy when you vilify him, subject him to low slavery and force him to serve as a janitor, and then witness how his beloved wife gives herself to another man, and at the same time, not embarrassed to tell her husband that he could never do for her what her stallion could do, and then say, "But I really love you." The story I read was both bitter and heartless. So I'm going to write the next chapter in the spirit of finish this damn story. But first I apologize to the author and the reader. I read this story 2 weeks ago. My weak memory no longer clings to names and titles as much as before. However, the incompleteness of the story was so annoying that I was forced to write another chapter. Therefore, before proceeding to the ending, I will summarize. If you recognize this story, or if you are the author, please send me the title or author's name so I can repost it with permission and thanks. Or, without obtaining permission, he could delete the story. I like this story with this ending. I may even keep the characters and release another episode or two, depending on reasonable feedback. The bitch doesn't get burned, but she doesn't get what she wants either. So, for these two camps of readers, c'est la vie. First, a synopsis of the original story. Stop me if you've heard this before, or just skip to the mark. Our story begins with childhood friends growing up, falling in love, dating, and eventually giving their virginity to each other like high school sweethearts. After they started having sex, she started cheating, and when she was outed, she felt terrible and told him everything, which led to his forgiveness and amazing sex. They attend different colleges, where she remains sexually active, but only tells him everything when they are together, which, due to the fact that he is in a very strict program, is rare. On such occasions, she teases him with details, a practice that makes their sex during visits and vacations even more intense. However, she doesn't just tease him. She clings to him, asks for forgiveness, and admits that she loves him more than anything in the world. You guessed it. Her sex with another guy is just sex. Their relationship takes a turning point at the climax of the story when he comes to visit her at college. She casually mentioned that she was unfaithful again, but this time she invited her lover to meet him. This does not cause him the usual excitement, but instead makes him feel very anxious. Not only is he dating her bull, but he's forced to spend time with him on a visit when it's supposed to be precious time with the love of his life. The bull is beautiful. The bull is not good to him. The bull kisses his girlfriend passionately and then tells her to get rid of her lover. She asks her dear one to go get pizza, and later, they say, she will sort everything out. When he returns with dinner, her door is locked and he remains outside. There is no answer to his knock except for giggles, and the subsequent sounds let him know what exactly he is missing. Finally, the door unlocks and she calls him into the bedroom. They are lying in bed. She asks him to bring pizza as they are hungry. Confused and amazed by this treatment, he brings pizza and 3 plates. She looks at him in surprise and says that he cannot eat with them, and that he should take the 3rd plate to the kitchen and leave the pizza. While he does this, the door is locked again, and she and her bull begin another passionate and noisy session. Later, the door opens again. This time he bursts into the room, where he is greeted by a grinning bull and a giggling lover. The pizza has disappeared. They openly laugh at him for the fact that he is caring for a girl who is having sex with another man. and he cannot even eat part of the food he brought. Here she takes pity on him, tells him to lie down, and she should give him something to eat. End of story. Is it true? There were so many ways this story could go, but there is no plot, no excitement, everything just suddenly stopped. This doesn't suit me. So, let's begin. I'll call the characters Kirk and Sally, and Bull. Well, let's just call him Bill. Bill is a bull. Kirk is a licker, and Sally is a slut. The original story was written from Kirk's point of view, and I don't mind. You know those moments when time slows down and you can just see what's right and what's wrong? Those moments when you just know what to do. For me, this was the mother of all time-slowing moments. I looked at the woman I loved. I once loved her because at that moment it became completely clear how stupid I had been in loving her with such intensity. At that moment, I realized that Sally was not the love of my life, but only the love of my life up to that moment. And she was the love of my life until this moment only because she had a monopoly. We grew up together. We learned to love together. They relied on each other for everything. This means that none of us had an experience that was superior to the experience of the other. That was the theory. She has clearly expanded her circle of lovers. I foolishly remained faithful to her. To her? No. Just faithful to the hope that I can maintain pure love for my beloved for life. How did I know that she was my soulmate? My one and only? I didn't compare her to anyone. Apparently, I'm not good enough to keep her faithful to me. Obviously, she doesn't love me enough to want me to be her one and only. And what she's about to do means she doesn't even respect me enough to honor me in front of another lover. How will she respect me in marriage? Among our children? How can I be sure that she actually gave birth to children from me and not the offspring of an illicit affair? Burst this bubble. My hands were right on her ass, and I roared and pushed her away from me with enough force to throw her off the bed. She had a hard time landing and ended up sprawled on the floor at the foot of the bed. I heard the air fly out of her lungs as I sat, and soon she became exhausted and struggled to catch air. Bill didn't do anything, but I stood up, straightened my shirt, and walked out. I took my bag from the living room and left. When I reached the porch, I felt bile rising in my throat, and I vomited. "Do you feel better?" The voice was coming from behind me, where a rather plain girl with brown hair was sitting on a porch swing, reading. "Sorry. I didn't notice you there. Otherwise, I would have tried to at least go around the corner so you wouldn't see it." "Everything is fine. I understand." I looked at her curiously. "Sally's bedroom window is open. I heard everything. I would feel bad, too. They laugh at you, you know." "Without a doubt. How many have you heard?" "It's a wonderful evening today. I don't have a date. I've been reading here for a couple of hours now. You came to visit? She made you hang out with her and Bill, sent you out to get food. They have each other. She made you serve her. While she and her honey were probably naked, they sent you away and had sex again. You came back and she offered to feed you, but you thought that instead of food, she meant something completely different. Did I understand correctly?" I didn't have to answer. She knew everything, and I knew that she knew it. "You're Kirk, right?" I nodded. "I'm Diana, Sally's upstairs neighbor. You know, she tells us about you. Let me think. You are the ideal husband. You're a medical student and plan to become a surgeon, so you'll be a good provider. You play the piano and like to draw, so you're not just some one-dimensional armchair quarterback. You are hardworking and gentle, so you will be a good father. You love her so much that you would do anything for her, so she taught you to let her have sex buddies, and you yourself would remain faithful to her. She told us that you both are following your life plan. How right am I? Did she share this with you?" "She shares it with everyone. Also says that you are a great lover and that she really loves you. She just needs more than one guy. That's why she is preparing you to accept her planned lifestyle." I could barely contain myself. I just couldn't believe that she thought so little of me. "You didn't seem to know about that part of the plan." "Oh, don't worry so much. I know it hurts. It must hurt. But aren't you glad you know it now? Why are you telling me this?" "There was something she said about you that intrigued me. that you love her so much that you would do anything for her. This is true? A dozen cases flashed through my head. I gave my jacket to a friend at a wedding reception when it got cold, and her light dress wasn't doing the job. I gave her my umbrella when it started to rain. I worked part-time to send her money for college. Yes, until tonight. Sounds familiar. Kirk, I was where you are now. In my first year, I was popular. She dressed stylishly, styled her hair, wore contact lenses and makeup, and knew how to tease guys. I did it well and often so that they would do everything for me. They brought me flowers, wine, took me on dates and luxurious dinners. Eventually, I started having sex with them. One really caught my attention. He said how good we are together and that we have a future. One evening, towards the end of the year, he asked if I wanted to do something special. I loved him, so I said, anything. I would do anything for him. I thought it would be something special for the two of us. Something memorable and romantic. Maybe there will be a ring at the end. And there was a ring of his friends, me naked in the center. I lay there dazed and bruised. One by one the guys left, laughing at the stupid bitch who thought her boyfriend could love a girl who let anyone have her. He's been using me all this time. I didn't even see him leave. I got dressed, went home, and cleaned myself up. I ended that year hiding in the library. The next year she returned without stylish clothes, with long, simple hair, glasses, and without the slightest hint of makeup. I buried myself in my books. Halfway through the year, I met Sally in English class, and she brought me out of my social slumber, introduced me to a few cute boys, which meant they were just politely trying to get into my pants. I liked sex, but I didn't like any of it. She said, I need a guy like you, a guy who would love me no matter what and would do anything for me. But I never found a guy who would do anything but try to fuck me. They all said that I was sexually experienced. They said that I should dress better, that if I tried, I could be pretty. None of them made me feel right. And Sally went on and on about you, having sex with every guy in front of everyone. I never met you, but you became the guy of my dreams, my fantasy. And suddenly, here you are. She just put it all on the line and you rejected her. She will look for you and try to make peace, you know. She will promise to be good and become your one and only. But as soon as you feel safe and confident in her, she will immediately leave. You know it. So, tonight, before she comes back to you, try someone else. Try me. Without a doubt, I was excited. No doubt, after all Sally's stories about her adventures in betrayal, I myself was interested in trying something new. And I was excited. I could tell that underneath that simple facade of Jane in the boring sweatshirt and baggy jeans, this girl had a figure to fantasize about. Sorry, but that's the only way to do it, in sweatshirts. Did I mention I was excited? I'd been waiting weeks to come here and make love to Sally, but the word horny wasn't strong enough. I was more than excited. Are you hungry? Oh yeah, and that too. I skipped lunch to catch the bus on time, and I was denied my share of the pizza I brought, and I simply threw what was left from breakfast into the bushes. I wanted to eat. Let's go. I know a good place. Good burgers, about 50 beers on tap, and there's an open mic tonight. It's time for you to enjoy your date without Sally. And it's time for me to see what it's like to be with a guy who can love a woman enough to be willing to do anything for her. We are going. She was delightful company, and by the time our burgers arrived, we were joking and laughing and not even thinking about Sally. Somewhere between the fries and coleslaw, people started singing at the open mic. Some were great, some were so-so, and our conversation turned to music. I criticized one guy, and she suggested that I do better. So I signed up for the speaker list and ordered another beer. Remember when I told you that I sent Sally money from my part-time job? Well, the job was profitable. Twice a week I spent just 3 hours playing the piano at a cocktail bar near campus. Hey, it was cheesy, but it was better than paying tuition and cleaner than mowing lawns. I gained some fans because my repertoire consisted of love songs and bitter songs like Someone Did Something Bad to Someone. Inevitably, when it was my turn, someone recognized me, and by popular demand, to Diana's delight, I spent an hour on stage. We left this place in the early morning hours. When we walked out the door, I hugged her, and she clung to me. Hey, check your phone. There were 32 missed calls from Sally. Diana turned me to face her and looked straight into my eyes. You'd spend the entire night servicing her and her boyfriend in the pitiful hope that you could get sloppy seconds or come in third while they laughed at you. Now end your night right. Be free and spend this night with me. She kissed me. Her tongue fought with mine, and our lips locked together until suddenly she broke our embrace and started running towards her apartment. I followed on her heels and watched as she took off her clothes. I stopped to pick her up, which slowed me down enough to allow her to escape. Smart girl. First, her dirty sweatshirt lay on the porch, then the t-shirt she was wearing underneath, and finally her small white lace bra. I grabbed it and slipped through. The door before it closed and heard her rushing up the stairs. I was about to turn the corner when her jeans rushed by. I went downstairs to pick them up. I froze and heard the key turn, the door open, and her footsteps slip into the apartment. I backed away and disappeared through her door just as I heard Sally's voice from the door on the floor below, grumbling about everyone running around like crazy so late at night. I rushed to Diana's bedroom, where she lay naked, arms outstretched. Forget about Sally, or better yet, don't. I'm noisy when I have sex, the windows are open, and if she thinks it's going on, let's give her something serious to nag about. Now take me. I started to undress. She was already moaning quite loudly. I know it's been months for you. Don't worry about me the first time. I'll be fine. We'll make love later. Now just take me as hard as you can. Right now. There is no reason to keep a lady waiting. Clearly, now was not the time for foreplay. As soon as we connected, Diana responded with a loud, guttural roar that shook the foundations of the universe. At least mine. She's right. She's not quiet and inconspicuous. And the windows are open. I heard echoes bouncing off the walls of neighboring buildings. Dogs began to bark in distant neighborhoods. Air raid sirens blared, and searchlights illuminated the sky, searching for enemy aircraft. Okay, those last two statements are a bit of an exaggeration, but I have no doubt that we shared our sexcapade with everyone in Diana's neighbors who was still awake. I also knew that Sally lived on the floor below, and her comment about our mess in the stairwell clearly indicated that she was quite awake. What was that bitch friend of yours thinking while having sex behind your back? She's so damn lucky to have you. No! Do not stop! Never stop having Mia! Mia! Turned into a cry of passion. I don't know what. What else did Sally need? I never let her down. He was an adventurer, ready to try anything she wanted, but she wanted another guy. Wow. Diana and I spent more than one round, changed more than one position, and more than once she came to climax, and every time this incredible scream at the moment of denouement. Hey! Someone shouted. Fuck her for me too! Someone else. Come on, cowgirl, ride this bull! I even heard Sally screaming from her window one floor below. Oh God, Diana! Finally, after what seemed like hours but was probably only an hour, I reached an incredible climax. We collapsed and fell asleep. We woke up only after half an hour or so and started again. This time slowly and gently, lovingly, gently, and she was still screaming. Hey yee! She screamed most of the night, and the last time was on Saturday morning when the sun rose. We slept until 2 o'clock. You were so good last night. Amazing. I have no idea what Sally is thinking. I was with Billy. He can't hold a candle to you, he can't hold out for shit, and he doesn't care about the girl's pace. You are gifted and attentive. Damn, I thought you read my mind. As soon as I want something, you already give it to me. I smiled and kissed her. Didn't say a word, but she said, Hey ya! We took a shower. Soap is fun when you share it with a sexy girl. Hey ya! After lunch, we walked and talked. She planned to go to law school and avoided serious relationships because she was afraid that working long hours in law school and starting practice at the same time would be too overwhelming. I'm about to go to medical school myself, and what she says makes sense. Perhaps this weekend was for the best in many ways. Have you checked your phone lately? Didn't check. There were 84 missed calls, all from Sally. I was drawn to call her, and my finger hovered over the button. pressing, which I could call her back. And then I realized that if I really wanted to talk to her, I would not have hesitated. I opened the SMS window and deleted all 84. I went back to the list of recent calls, selected her number, and blocked it. "Good job," Diana whispered. "Someday you will be able to forgive her. You might even get back together with her. But what she did last night was wrong too. Much. Let her be alone for a while without you. Now what are we going to do with dinner?" "It's simple. I'm cooking for you." "He also cooks. Crap. Be careful, Romeo. I might deviate from my no relationship rule and take you in and chain you to a stake." "To the post. Yes." "Okay. After last night? No complaints. But one question." "Okay. Ask." "If I'm chained to a post, how will I cook dinner?" "On a long chain. We did our shopping and returned to her house. I've prepared it. I know that Sally can recognize smells. I actually wanted her to recognize them. She loved my cooking, and dinner at the restaurant was a favorite date night for a long time. What else can she do without? I decided that Diana was right. We need to move on. If Sally really loves me, let her take steps to fix what she broke. In the meantime, a good time has come in my life. I am single." Diana set the table on her small terrace. While there, I heard Sally call her. "Hey, girl. Looks like it was hot last night. Who is this lucky guy?" "Nobody special. I met him last evening. He was just visiting for the weekend, but his friends kind of abandoned him and he was left alone. So we went out somewhere in the evening and he stayed late. He even cooked me dinner. Honey, he prepared more than just dinner. Last night he cooked all of you, as hot as that sounded. Oh yes, sorry, I got carried away. He was so good. He's so big compared to the other guys here, and he just never stops. I think I really have reached a climactic coma. Dinner smells good. What did he cook? Hey D, yesterday was fun. Yes, that guy was so good. Where did you find it?" Another neighbor came out onto their terrace and joined the conversation. "Hello, Audrey. I just met him last night. He wandered alone, slightly depressed, and I invited him for pizza. He brought some of it for his friends, and they abandoned him, but took the pizza. We went to open mic night. I didn't know he was so good." "Is it true? My friend said he was a rising hip indie singer-songwriter and doing pretty well in Baltimore. He sings a mixture of ballads with very rough lyrics and songs about lost loves, somewhere between Tom Waits and Leonard Cohen, but with better rhythm. Danny is a real fan and was so excited when the presenter announced that Martin Kirk was playing. Sally did not miss this moment. Suddenly everything fell into place. Kirk's middle name was Martin. He played the piano, but she had never heard him sing or perform in public. During the 4 years they were in college, she was quite busy with her own adventures. A lot of things happened that he didn't know about because she didn't tell him. Perhaps he was also doing something she didn't know about. Like a music career? This didn't sound like Kirk. But Martin Kirk? There were other coincidences that Sally couldn't ignore. Firstly, Diana met him last night after his friends abandoned him. Then the fact that he didn't answer her calls. He always called back. Always wanted to know about her adventures. Then there was a comment about a big manhood in his pants. Her lovers had never met Kirk, at least not until Billy. Part of their ability to humiliate Kirk was due to their belief that they were superior lovers. The truth was that Kirk was built like a Greek god, if not better. If Kirk ever realizes that she lusts after him so much, and that she only talks about him to keep him under her control, it could all be over. Then her greatest nightmare came to her. A memory flashed through her mind of hearing, "He" all night long. Was it really he who had Diana all night? She was sure he would, and Diana wasn't the type to waste time telling Kirk what he really looked like. By this time, he had probably already learned the truth. He's a stud, and being cuckolded and humiliated by her over the years was something he didn't have to willingly accept. "Diana, I want to meet this guy of yours." Diana looked at Sally over the railing. She smiled, but didn't say anything. "Diana, don't play with me. I want to meet him. Tell him to come out here." "There's no need to meet him, Sally. You already know him. In fact, you set him up by leaving him last night. He actually doesn't want to talk. But, just for neighborhood's sake, I'll let him know you're here and that you want to see him. Wait. She disappeared from Sally's sight, and we had sex, again and again, all night long. Of course, Sally kept calling from her terrace. She even came up and pounded on the door until the other residents chased her away. She called Diana's apartment and used both the landline and Bill's cell phone in an attempt to bypass the lock on my phone. Shortly after midnight, her attempts stopped, but mine are not. All night I punished Diana with sex again and again. We didn't eat dinner, but it certainly smelled good. The next day, Diana walked me to the bus. We saw Sally waiting at the bus stop just as she had spotted us a block away. Diana turned me to face her and kissed me deeply. No need for sentimentality. You are a great guy, and I have never felt so satisfied. And even loved. But I don't love you as my husband's wife. I'm too selfish now. I think you should become more selfish, too. You are a fantastic lover, Kirk. Go and play on the field a little more. Sally should be sure of that. And if you're around, let me know. Tell me, where do you plan to study at medical school? I'll stay in Baltimore, at Hopkins. I like it there. Hopkins, right? I heard they also have a law school. She gave me a quick kiss and a wink before turning and walking away. I turned around too and went straight to my bus, where Sally was waiting for me. So I confused us, right? No. Maybe you just corrected us. You were probably right to go out and have sex with other guys. You know, to compare. Yes. But the problem is that no one can compare with you. I only had you. Now you are in the free market. I know it's selfish, but I wanted comparisons without the risk of you doing the same. I put my suitcase in the luggage compartment under the bus. Well, Sally, you have all the time in the world to analyze what went right and what went wrong. I don't care. All I know is that I came here to spend the weekend with the woman I adore, only to be told for the 10th time that someone else had taken my place in bed. Then I had to not only meet him, but also share our time with him. And then I had to give up my share of that time to go get you both pizza, which I was supposed to serve you in bed, only to get you locked up again so you could be alone with your lover. Then I avoided trying to force-feed me his cream pie. These are all signs of the worst weekend of my life. Damn, these were all the signs of hell. I can't understand why you did this to me. No, don't answer. I don't care. Just knowing that you tried to do this to me is enough. Luckily, Diana pulled me out of the trash heap and I had a great time with her, and now it's time for me to go. I walked up to the driver and handed him my ticket. What's wrong with us now? Where are we? I assume by us you mean yourself and Billy, and that's up to you and Billy. You know that I mean you and me. I know exactly what you mean. But Sally, there is no you and me except in history. So there you go. Go enjoy your boys, you don't need me. Kirk, I need you. Can I come to you? Can I try to fix everything? Certainly. Will you give me a second chance? After all, we had many good years together. Sally, understand. It's too painful for me. I just got over the loss of you. So now is a very bad time to ask me this. Maybe after some time and distance, I can heal. I think anything can happen, but don't try to play the history card with me. I can just remember the most unpleasant moments of our relationship, and this time I may not be able to leave the house before I throw up. I turned to get on the bus. No kiss goodbye? No. I only had one, and I gave it to Diana. I didn't look back. Why worry? I climbed onto the bus and found a seat on the other side, feeling the need to get as far away from Sally as possible, as quickly as possible. My future was always clear, but suddenly I lost direction. I saw myself in the yard behind the white fence, but the woman who was there with me and the children was always Sally in that dream. Now the wife from my dream was faceless and unknown. I knew Diana was a worthy adventure. As the bus filled up, I fantasized about being with all the sexy, pretty girls in college that I had previously thought were out of reach. The prospect of being free and liberated excited me. Then she slid into the seat next to me, a beauty in pink, with a skirt that did little to hide legs that were as long as eternity. She turned to me. and in front of me was a view of the most amazing cleavage canyon I had ever seen. "Hello? I'm Karen. Do you mind if I sit with you?" "Not at all. I'm Kirk. Are you going to Baltimore too?" "Yes." "Kirk, then?" "You know, I've never met a guy named Kirk before, but I know this singer. And that's his name, Martin Kirk. I saw him twice, but was never able to get close. I like his songs so much that I swore to all my girlfriends that if I was ever lucky enough to meet him, I would stupidly fuck him. I know it's stupid to fall in love with a guy you've never met, but he's so sexy and his music, wonderful. The sound of his voice immediately makes me aroused. I shouldn't tell you this, I'm a complete stranger and all, but I smiled. Looks like it'll be fun, although it's too easy. Subscribe to our channel so that your second chaff doesn't cheat on you, and go ahead and listen to the next story, because this story is nothing compared to the next one. If you're under 18, don't even think about listening to the next one.